Okay, so last night was the governor debate for Florida, and Ron DeSantis, um although reluctant to, showed up to the debate, and he kind of he pretty much got his ass handed to him on like every single issue pretty much. It was it was pretty brutal, actually. It was bad. And we're gonna sit here and watch some of the clips from it.
Yeah, so it actually, if you look around the country, they do have programs, unfortunately, where they will take a student, look at their race, say, okay, you're white, you're an oppressor. If you're black, you're oppressed. And think about what that does to a 6 or 7-year-old kid. That's wrong. You're seeing that. You have people that are teaching, and actually his running mate has said this in the past, that teaching the United States was built on stolen land.
Okay, so already a bunch of problems with what he just said there. So the first problem with what um Ronnie Boy said is that he literally just said that in schools there are programs where they go up to white children and say that you are an oppressor, and then they go up to the black children and say you are oppressed. He's making it sound like the teachers go up to white students, put them in one category, and then like puts like a thing on the whiteboard that says like, okay, oppressors, and then they take the black kids and they put them on the other side of the room and they say, okay, oppressed. And that doesn't fucking happen. That's not happening anywhere at all. If that was happening, we would be hearing about that from some of these students that go to these schools through social media. If this shit was really happening, the young people would be talking about it. The people that are in school would be talking about it over social media, and they're not talking about it because this shit's not fucking happening. It's not. It's not that I don't know if that's ever happened at any school ever, but that's not fucking happening here. So I don't know what the fuck he's yapping about there. And then he also said that they teach that America
You
was
have people that are teaching,
founded
and
on
actually his
stolen
running
land.
mate has said this in the past, that teaching the United States was built on stolen land. That is inappropriate for our schools. It's not true.
So number one, it is true, and number two, I don't know what makes that inappropriate when it is literally true. Um, if Ron DeSantis is attempting to whitewash history, which a lot of Republicans and conservatives, that's apparently what they want, it's not going to work. That's not going to work.
And I'm happy that we're going to be able to have accurate history, and we're going to make sure that we
Accurate
honor
history.
those who have sacrificed so that we can be free.
Congressman, you have 30 seconds. You have 30 seconds,
Thank you.
Congressman.
Well, listen, here he goes again. I mean, he keeps going back to this stuff. These outrageous, radical kind of comments that have nothing to do with reality. He says
Exactly.
they're teaching this in other schools in other states.
Great
This is
response.
Florida. You're the governor of Florida right now. You won't even say if you want to be the governor of Florida after this election.
Also, every time every time Chris is talking, he looks so,
But you are right now.
he looks
And
like
we
he's
need to be
gonna
focused
cry.
on what's happening in our schools. Our schools are doing a decent job, and they're not teaching hate. They're teaching reading, writing, and arithmetic. They're doing it with good teachers, but you don't respect
time,
them, and that's why they're
Congressman.
fleeing our schools. We need a governor who cares about education.
We're going to move on
real
to our next
education.
question.
I also like how in these debates, these candidates will sit there and they'll be like, the people would be like, okay, you're out of time, and then they just continue to talk. Okay, so we have another clip here.
And Ron, you talk about Joe Biden a lot. I understand. You think you're going to be running against him. I can see how you might get confused. But
Oh.
you're running for governor.
Damn.
You're running for governor. And I have a question for you. You're running for governor. Why don't you look in the eyes of the people of the state of Florida and say to them, if you're reelected, you will serve a full 4-year term as governor? Yes or no?
He gets confronted with the question if he will
Yes or
serve
no,
the full
Ron?
term. He literally just,
Will you serve a full 4-year term if you're reelected governor of Florida? It's not a tough question. It's a fair question. He won't tell you.
see, now, I mean, and again, the crowd reacts a lot in this debate, but, and rightfully so. He literally gets asked the question, if you get elected, are you going to serve your full 4-year term as governor? And,
4-year term as governor? Yes or no?
Yes or no? And he just doesn't say anything.
Yes or no, Ron? Will you serve a full 4-year term if you're reelected governor of Florida?
His mouth is just
It's
shut.
not a tough question. It's a fair question. He won't tell you.
We did not agree on the candidates asking each other questions. Governor.
And then he sits there and he says, he asks, like, is it my time? Can I talk now? But he knows damn well that, you know, even if he answers the question, he knows he's being set up to run for president. He's absolutely doing this. This isn't like something that no one knows about or anything, and that's why he won't answer the question. It's because, you know, he knows that he's gonna he wants to run for president. That's what he wants to do, and that's his plan. And he even if he does get elected governor, he does plan on possibly not serving that full term. And we have even more clips here of old Ronnie Boy just looking just so sad. He just looks so defeated.
We had one of the highest death rates in America, Ron, and over 6 million of our fellow Floridians have gotten COVID under your leadership. Now, that's not something to be boastful and proud about. I'm pro-business. I want to make sure we keep our businesses open. I'm not the governor who attacked Walt Disney World because they deigned to express their point of view.
And so what he's referring to there is Florida's Don't Say Gay bill, which is an entirely different thing. Just, you know, really what it is, it's a bill to try and, you know, restrict the rights of people that are gay, and also, you know, it includes a bunch of it's just a terrible provision. And when this was introduced back in either April or March of this year, Walt Disney, they actually came out and said that they don't agree with it. They don't agree with Ron DeSantis and Florida and this bill. They just pretty much said, you know, we don't agree with this at all. And in response, Angie Boy Ronnie over here, there's a part of Florida where Walt Disney is, and that district where Walt Disney is, it's actually technically its own governing district, and the main reason for that is pretty much for tax purposes for Walt Disney. But Ron DeSantis signed legislation that is actually supposed to go into effect, I believe, next year, that is going to take away Disney's self-governing province in Florida, which a lot of people have taken issue with him doing that and him reacting like that, because it really just seems like, you know, it was just like I'm trying to think of the word, it was just a reaction off of emotion from Ron DeSantis. You know, there's absolutely no reason for him to do that when the company came out and said that, you know, they don't agree with this. And then Ron DeSantis just literally did actually go on the attack, taking away this part of Florida that they have for themselves.
I'm not the governor who attacked the cruise industry because they just wanted to make sure that their customers weren't sick before they got on the boat. That's you. You're the most anti-business governor I've ever seen.
He's absolutely 100% right about what he was saying there. He is he is pretty anti-business. There's a lot of things that he's done that are really just come off as anti-business in a lot of different ways. And we have more clips here. Okay, so this next one is about abortion.
A public policy debate for the past couple of years, perhaps never more so than after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. Right now, a legal challenge to Florida's 15-week abortion ban passed by the legislature and signed by Governor DeSantis is making its way through the courts. The Florida Supreme Court, which will ultimately decide on this issue, has previously found the state constitution's privacy clause applies to abortion access. This question comes from Wayne in Stewart. In your opinion, after what week of pregnancy should abortion be banned? Governor.
Well, I was thinking back in the aftermath of this to a poor woman over 40 years ago in Jamaica, and she found herself pregnant, didn't think there'd be much opportunity to have a child, was urged to abort the baby, went to get the abortion, and, for whatever reason, and maybe we can't explain, that didn't end up happening, and she ended up having the baby. And I think about that because a few months ago, I appointed her daughter to be the first Jamaican-American justice in the history of the Florida Supreme Court. I just think we're better when everybody counts. I understand not everyone's going to be born in perfect circumstances, but I would like to see everybody have a shot. I'm proud of the 15 weeks that we did. I know Charlie Crist opposes that, even though the baby is fully formed, has a heartbeat, can feel pain, and can suck their thumb.
No,
He also supports
absolutely not.
sex-selective abortions, which is used to discriminate against little girls.
Okay, also not true. And something else that I really don't understand is the Republicans, they do this thing where to get their point across, they will tell like a story, and it'll try to be an emotional story. So Marjorie Taylor Greene will get up there and say, oh, she's dealt with a school shooter. Lauren Boebert will get up there and say, yeah, there was this guy outside of my restaurant and he was beaten to death. And what if I didn't have a gun? How am I supposed to defend myself without a gun? DeSantis gets up there. He says, oh, well, that there was this lady in Jamaica and this and that. And they all do this. They all have these stories. Herschel Walker has this story about these cows or whatever the fuck, I don't even know. And they all do this. It's part of the Republican playbook of shitty tactics, and it's nothing new. And I personally think that a lot of the time these stories work against them in a lot of different ways. That didn't really make me feel anything or any type of way, but he also said that the fetus is fully formed at 15 weeks, which is that's not proven. There's no basis behind that. He can say that, but that does not make it true.
He supports this.
I mean, that should really just be the Republican motto, though.
Dismemberment abortions, where they literally will tear the baby limb from limb. And
that's not even a thing. Dismemberment abortions, he literally just said where they rip the baby limb from limb. That doesn't happen.
he supports taxpayer funding of abortion all the way up until the moment of birth, and that is wrong.
Congressman, you have 60 seconds.
Ron, that's just not the truth, and you know it. You know it. He wouldn't answer your question. Do you want to ban abortion completely? He never got to it. He talked about Jamaica. I don't want to ban abortion. I want to make sure we keep a woman's right to choose available to the women of the state of Florida. And I want to make sure that we don't have a governor in the future who wouldn't even allow exceptions for rape or incest.
And that's exactly what he wants. And Ron DeSantis does want it. The reason he doesn't answer these questions is because he knows that answering these questions, abortion is one of the biggest topics in these upcoming midterm elections. So for Ron DeSantis to come out and say, yeah, I support a full abortion ban. We saw, I think Lindsey Graham came out and said that, and that had the Republicans reeling. They were not happy with Lindsey Graham for saying that. So obviously, smart on Ron DeSantis' part for sitting here and not saying that he wants to support a full abortion ban. But in reality, that's exactly what he wants. He wants a full ban on abortion, no exceptions, rape, incest, whatever it is. He wants a full-on abortion ban. Okay, this might be the last one that we have here, but this next one is about the Martha's Vineyard immigrants that Ron DeSantis flew some planes over to Texas and shipped them up to Martha's Vineyard.
State. Congressman?
I thought what the governor did was a horrible political stunt.
And it was. That's exactly what it was.
Problem. We have a problem at the border. We need to secure the border. I agree with all of that. But it doesn't mean that you use Florida taxpayers' dollars to charter 2 jets, go to Texas, lie to people to get them onto planes, fly them up to the northern part of our country, and one of them's a 1-year-old baby.
Exactly.
Another is a pregnant woman.
Yep.
You're willing to use people like that. In this case, they were Hispanics, Venezuelan in particular, and have them as props for your political gain?
Which is exactly what he did. He was literally playing with human lives, using them as pawns for his political gains. It was literally just a gigantic political stunt. One of the really, in my opinion, shittiest ones in recent times.
That's not the way to change.
And it's like I said, you could just tell by his face that, you know, he knows he's getting obliterated up here. And he knows this is bad, and he's just sitting there frowning. I mean, he always looks miserable like this all the time, but even more so now.
That's not the way to change policy. You can change policy and do what's right to secure the border by having comprehensive immigration reform. That's what I voted for in Congress. When you were in Congress, you wouldn't do it because you want to keep this issue alive. You want to have it as a wedge issue. And you want to pull political stunts like you did with the taxpayers' dollars of the people of Florida. That's not what it's for. That's not what you should have done. It isn't funny. It's not right. And you were inhumane in how you treated these people.
And he's exactly right with that. And he's one of the main things he was right about with what he said.
Keep this issue alive.
He wants to keep this issue alive, and all Republicans do. They want to keep certain issues like immigration. This is one of the main things that they run on all the time. They say that there's a crisis at the border. You know, immigrants are coming in these huge droves, and they're taking jobs, they're taking houses, they're killing, they're raping, they're doing all these terrible things. This is one of the main Republican selling points, and it's really nice to see a Democrat, someone come in and really hone in on these main selling points and, you know, talk about them and talk about, you know, just offer rebuttals to them. It's really refreshing to see, and I'm really glad that Charlie Crist is able to sit here and talk like this and do this.